You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I've ever met. I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart. Baby, I would rather be dead. In your heart, since the start of every night and every day. In your eyes, I get lost, I get washed away. Just as long as I'm here in your arms, I could be in no better place. You're simply the best.
I'm especially honored to have the privilege of introducing our very special guest this evening. I remember being glued to my television back in 1984 when Mary Lou Retton thrilled us all with her Olympic-winning gold medal performance. How many of you share that memory with me? And as with all of us, the years moved on, and Mary Lou began to face new challenges once she retired from her Olympic competition and gymnastics competition. And key among these challenges was the intense pain that she began to experience in her hip, not only from the years of pounding on the gymnastic floor, but as she'll share later, from a congenital issue as well. And unfortunately, this very active woman found herself as what she described, a couch potato. So true to form, she met this challenge with the same tenacity and drive that she showed all of us in her Olympic career. And she is going to share with you all how, through some advanced technology and the skill of surgeons like the two gentlemen sitting up with her tonight, she was able to restore her active lifestyle. And just as she shared with us the thrill of her victory back in 1984, she's going to share with us the experience and the thrill of her recovery back to active life, and we'll be able to allow you all to experience that along with a moment back from 1984.
After two rotations, Katerina Szabo leads Mary Lou Retton by 0.15 of a point, the exact margin by which she trailed when the evening began. The third apparatus for Szabo is the ball. She scores a 9.9. Meanwhile, at the floor exercise, Mary Lou Retton is magnificent. The battle for the gold medal is narrowed down to the last apparatus. If Retton scores a perfect 10 in the ball, the gold medal is hers. If she gets a 9.95, she and Katerina Szabo will share the gold medal. If Retton scores anything less than a 9.95, the gold medal will belong to Szabo.
People ask me all the time, they say, Mary Lou, do you ever get tired of watching that video? My honest answer, no. I love watching it really for two reasons. I mean, the first being that it was one of the most incredible moments in my life. And then second, when they project it onto a large screen like this, I'm so big. When you're 4'9", that's exciting. It really is a pleasure to be here this evening. I've spent my whole day here in Flint, and it's been such a warm welcome. You have a great community of folks here. But I'm here tonight to share with you my story of what it took for me to get to that moment in my life, and now the struggle and the story of where I am in the stage of life I am now as a 39-year-old wife and mother and a hip replacement person or patient. What you saw on that film was not supposed to happen. I'm telling you, I was not supposed to be there, and I certainly wasn't supposed to do that. Because you see, gold medalists in gymnastics were not supposed to come from America. American gymnasts weren't supposed to come from West Virginia, which is where I'm from. And after having knee surgery just 6 weeks earlier, I wasn't even supposed to be at the Olympics. Now, to get there, I had to overcome a lot of limits which had been placed on me by history, by other people, and by myself. Now, I grew up in a small coal mining town in the hills of West Virginia that had never sent anybody to the Olympics. I wasn't built the way gymnasts were, back in my generation, were supposed to be built. And back, 25 years ago, they wanted the gymnasts to be slender and graceful. I mean, my own coach, my own personal coach, Bella Caroli, used to say about me, he used to say, Maddie Lou is not quite a butterfly. I know, can you believe that? And you know what, less than 2 years before those Olympic Games, I wasn't even a world-class gymnast. I wasn't. I was a little kid from West Virginia. People barely knew my name. So to make it to that medal stand, I had to take risks. I had to seek out challenges. I had to recognize my own strengths. We all have strengths and weaknesses. And I had to make those strengths work for me. I had to learn to be resilient. But I think most importantly, I had to learn how to seize the moment. Now, any champion needs those qualities. They aren't limited to just athletic champions. I mean, we all need them. If you're an actor, an artist, a politician, doctors, physicians, nurses, anybody in this room this evening who has a dream or has a goal and wants to make that real. Well, my dream was to win a gold medal at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. But if I hadn't taken a very big risk and left my home in West Virginia, I was just 14 years old, to make the move to Houston, Texas to train with Bella Caroli, I'm very confident to say my dream never would have happened. It was really a joint effort between me and Bella. So everything changed for me way back in 1982. Now, I learned a lot in my athletic career. My life changed completely after sticking that vault that Friday night in the summer of 1984, which brings me to where I am today. In all of my years of gymnastics, as I mentioned a few of the injuries that I had, never once in my whole, 12, 13 years competing in a high-level sport of gymnastics, did I ever have a hip problem. I never fell on my hip, never crashed on my hip, never pulled a tendon in my hip, nothing. So when my left hip started hurting me, and I always say this, I've said this a couple times today, when you're a mother and you have multiple children, our timeline becomes our children. So my hip started hurting between baby 3 and baby 4. I had no idea what a magnum hip with a taper lock stem, none of that. My surgeon picked that for me, going off of my criteria. I'm young, I'm active. You don't have to be young and active to have the magnum hip. We're finding that out now. It's an awesome replacement. I was just existing. I'm living now again because the pain is gone. And the moment, it's still foggy, it's kind of foggy. When you wake up in recovery, you kind of remember bits and pieces. I remember knowing that that hip pain that I lived with for so many years was gone. And I described mine as like this, it was this deep toothache in my hip that never went away. From the moment you woke up to the moment, if you could fall asleep at night, that hip pain, it was gone. Now, I had surgery pain. We know mentally that's going to go away, but that deep ache, it was gone. And it hasn't been back since, and I'm 2.5 years post-op. It is the best decision I made in my life. People go, oh my gosh, you're Olympic champion. Yeah, but I'm also a hip replacement patient, and it changed my life. And like I said, I'll eventually have to have my right one done, and I can guarantee you this, I will not wait quite as long, because it really is a miracle operation. And I thank everyone who's involved, and the technology and the studies and what the future brings are incredible, incredible. And that is my life. There are a lot of stories of struggle, a lot of overcoming adversity, but that kind of puts me where I am today. And my life is my children and my wonderful husband. So thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to me. And we're going to have some awesome doctors talk to you now. Thank you very much. Hello.
Are you motivated? Is everybody motivated? Well, I tell you, I want to talk a second about family orthopedics. We formed it about 30 years ago. Dr. Burton was up on the dais with me. And today we started out with 2 and a couple other guys, and today we're up to 13 musculoskeletal practitioners in 3 locations. We've trained over 50 orthopedic surgeons now that are throughout the country and a little bit in the world.
Thank you. I'm putting it on. There we go.
One back shot. We need a back shot.
Thank you. How old are you? 55. I was 36 when I started having mine, and I was told the same thing. You're too young. Wait. If you can wait, technology's going to be better. I'm finding out I really missed the boat on that. I could have gained a couple inches, couldn't I? Right? I could have.
As a matter of fact, you saw one of the patients today that was up in our post-op rehabilitation. She had this similar problem. She had the dysplastic hip, but it was a really bad dysplastic hip, and we knew that she wanted both done eventually. So I told her that we will definitely make your first leg a lot longer, and you will be, when you're all done, about an inch taller. Therefore, your body weight and all that will match, and you don't have to be overweight or obese anymore.
That's right.
I spent almost a year with therapy on the right knee because of my left hip problem. As soon as I had the surgery, cobalt titanium, the pain was gone. I could play golf, I could walk, take 5 miles, I could do many things. It was a miracle. It was like, well, I don't want to get religious, but thank heaven for a man that walks on water.